on WOUB.
Night on Newswatch.
I think you're seeing communities rise up because they're looking out for each other.
The death toll in the Ohio County floods is up to 7, with 1 still missing. How first responders are handling this emergency.
Plus,
safety is our first priority.
Austin Power's Red Diamond plant is back open after last week's gas leak. What the CEO says about their plans moving forward.
And President Trump returns to the U.S. early from the G7 summit as tensions between Israel and Iran rise. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Talia Milowich.
And I'm Courtney Smith. Welcome to Newswatch.
The death toll of the devastating floods in West Virginia has risen to 7, according to Ohio County EMA Director Lou Vargo. The death was confirmed around 8:30 this morning. At least 1 person is still missing from the floods, and Vargo says that finding them is the relief team's top priority.
Many roads and businesses are still closed as cleanup crews try to get the county back on track. Residents are urged not to sightsee, as it can cut off first responders from accessing vital rescue equipment. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says despite the tragedy, the people of Ohio County are standing together.
We're going to be stronger. I think you're seeing communities rise up because they're looking out for each other, and that's the West Virginia way.
Flash floods displaced 12 residents of Perry County overnight.
We're going to hand it over to forecaster Steve Nedlick to see if flooding will continue into tonight.
Hey guys, the threat of flooding is still intact in West Virginia and southeastern Ohio, and a big part of that is a lot of the rain you've been experiencing over the past 24 to 48 hours. Now right now we're clear and at 80 degrees, but I want to direct you guys to the humidity, 68%. So it's really oppressive out there, and all of this heat is going to help bake up some of these storms that are going to dump some rain on us. And that's why we're going to see some of these storms potentially provide some flood water for our area and into West Virginia as they are scattering down there. Now, as for tonight, a low of 69, so we're not going to get much relief from the humidity. Those showers are going to be here, so just take a rain jacket if you have any plans tonight. And then looking into tomorrow, the rain sticks around, but we do heat up a little bit, and that'll allow us to, again, maybe have some storms in the area. So we'll take a look at what the rest of the week looks like as I get into my full forecast, because the rain does leave our area as of Thursday.
Employees at Austin Power's Red Diamond plant returned to work after a chemical leak forced locals to evacuate. The faculty resumed limited operations today after last week's nitrogen oxide leak and will reopen in phases. The incident is still under investigation, but no injuries or contamination has been reported. Austin Power's CEO says the plant only reopened once it was deemed safe to return.
Safety is our first priority. We will not resume operations until we have a full clearance from the regulators and are 100% confident in the ongoing safety of our facility.
Austin Power is offering reimbursements to community members affected by the leak if you had personal expenses like hotel stays or gas because of the evacuation. You can call the number on your screen.
Athens City Council came close to not approving the final payment to Pepper Construction last night. After much deliberation, the deciding vote, Councilman Michael Wood agreed but said the decision would be difficult. The city owes Pepper Construction one final payment for the new fire station. That final payment was supposed to be $732,000, but additional costs increased the amount due by just over $210,000. Councilman Member Wood was not happy with the city authorizing additional funds without consulting City Council. But Wood said he finally voted for it because a no vote would not change the outcome.
But I do hope the administration understands the message and is a little more mindful and communicates in a more respectful and direct way.
2 U.S. representatives from Ohio are on the list of potential targets recovered from the alleged killer of a Minnesota lawmaker. Representatives Joyce Beatty of Columbus and Greg Landsman of Cincinnati were 2 of the names on Vance Bolter's so-called kill list. Bolter allegedly shot and killed Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, and injured Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette Saturday morning. Bolter was arrested after the, quote, biggest manhunt in Minnesota's history on Sunday. More details of Bolter's alleged attacks on American lawmakers have surfaced today, and more of the targets on his kill list are speaking out. Bolter is currently in jail, facing both federal and state charges. Jen Sullivan has more.
As police work to piece together a motive for Saturday's targeted attack against Minnesota lawmakers, we're learning new details about what authorities say was a brazen plan to hunt down a long list of elected officials.
It is no exaggeration to say that his crimes are the stuff of nightmares.
After a 43-hour manhunt, police arrested 57-year-old Vance Belter. He's charged with shooting and killing Democratic Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark inside their Brooklyn Park home early Saturday morning.
It's such a loss, not just for people who knew her, but for the whole state of Minnesota.
Their children, Sophie and Colin Hortman, releasing a statement saying in part, "They were the bright lights at the center of our lives, and we can't believe they are gone. Their love for us was boundless. We miss them so much." Belter is also charged with shooting and seriously injuring Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Police now say Belter went to the homes of 2 other lawmakers that night, disguised as a police officer. Prosecutors allege he had a long list of intended targets, including some congressional leaders from Michigan.
It's truly chilling.
A longtime friend of Belter's told CNN he was a conservative who strongly opposed abortion rights, but never mentioned any anger with lawmakers who were shot. Other lawmakers on the list speaking out against the political violence.
All of us, every single one of us, has to help dial down the level of rhetoric. We are normalizing violence.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
The majority of Americans are against President Trump's big, beautiful bill. A new poll from the nonpartisan health research group KFF shows 64% of Americans are opposed to the tax policy bill. House Republicans passed the bill earlier this month, and it's currently being discussed by the Senate. The mega bill's main focus is to extend Trump's 2017 tax cut. The House version also aims to fulfill several of Trump's campaign promises, including temporarily eliminating taxes on tips, overtime, and auto loan interest. The conflict between Israel and Iran has continued to escalate, causing President Donald Trump to leave G7 summit early. Julia Benbrook is at the White House with the latest.
President Donald Trump is back here at the White House after abruptly leaving the G7 summit in Canada. He was originally slated to stay longer, but as the conflict between Israel and Iran was intensifying, he told reporters at the summit, "I have to be back as soon as I can." The White House confirmed his plans for an early departure, writing, quote, "because of what's going on in the Middle East." On Air Force One, the president told reporters he's seeking, quote, "a real end to the conflict between Israel and Iran," arguing that would be preferable to a ceasefire, while also suggesting his patience for negotiations is wearing thin.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end, a real end, not a ceasefire, an end.
So something that would be permanent?
Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
The president met with members of his national security team in the Situation Room Tuesday, just hours after he returned. While there are conflicting reports on how developed Iran's nuclear capabilities are, Trump says he believes Iran was on the verge of obtaining a nuclear weapon when Israel struck last week. Israel has been pressing Trump to become more involved in its campaign to dismantle Iran's nuclear facilities, which top officials from the country have said would require American planes and weapons. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The Department of Homeland Security is resuming immigration raids at worksite locations, reversing earlier guidance. Yesterday, ICE officials told office leaders to continue raids at sites like farms, hotels, and restaurants. That's a change from guidance issued days earlier under pressure from certain industries that rely on migrant workers. ICE operations have put chilling effect on some industries that heavily rely on immigrant workforces, such as farms and hotels. The U.S. Department of State has warned Americans not to travel to Iran under any circumstances. This comes as the war between Israel and Iran continues without an end in sight. Both countries are striking sites that are in very close proximity, to civilian areas, causing the Department of State to urge Americans to stay away from the two nations.
We remind U.S. citizens not to travel to Israel or Iraq, and not to travel to Iran under any circumstances.
15 people are dead and 156 more are injured after Russia's overnight missile and drone attack on the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia fired more than 440 drones and 32 missiles into Ukraine overnight. The main barrage of the attack destroyed a 9-story apartment building. Among the dead is a 62-year-old American citizen, according to the mayor of Kyiv. The attack was the deadliest on the capital this year. Coming up, the latest in the Senate's plan to fund a new stadium for the Cleveland Browns. Why Ohio's top sports teams are urging the governor to weigh in.
And new data shows Americans are pinching their pennies more. How Trump's tariffs have impacted consumer spending.
The rain has stuck around. Find out when it leaves next.
The Renaissance is endlessly conflicted and violent. And once you start to mix art and money, it's a lethal cocktail.
Michelangelo knows that he is going to be judged.
When it's finished, Leonardo moves to a new level of fame.
Raphael is going to steal Michelangelo's legacy.
Rivalry is embedded within the Renaissance.
The American Revolution changed the world.
Everybody had the sense of possibility worth fighting for.
What took place here still leaves us in awe.
We can work towards equality together.
Wow, this is the missing piece. Incredible.
To confront these figures from ancient history is a great privilege.
Our history tells us who we are, where we came from.
And it's all connected.
Like the links in a chain.
Like links in a chain, yeah.
All I can do is say thank you.
Wow, this is phenomenal.
I'm really grateful for this.
Regardless of your stage of life, whether you're starting your first job, getting the keys to a new home, or enjoying retirement, it's never too early or too late to create an estate plan to care for loved ones and support the causes that are meaningful to you. WOUB Public Media is pleased to have partnered with Giving Dogs, a free resource for building an estate plan that fits your needs and protects the people and causes you care about. Visit WOUB.org and click the Support tab to get started today.
We've been dodging raindrops all day today in Athens because we haven't had much rain, but it is sitting at 80 degrees and clear skies right now. The threat of rain has been all over, and that's due to this humidity and this really high dew point that we have that's made it really easy for some of these pop-up storms to come into our area. Now, with all these ingredients in play for thunderstorms, we've actually had a marginal risk in the area for severe weather, and now that hasn't really happened yet, but as we go later into the night, that's where we're going to start to see more widespread development, and it has already started. We've started to see more of these cells kind of bunch together and create larger storms, and that's what's going to help give us these flood watches that we've been under. But as of right now, we haven't had any rain, but I think that should change. Now, again, with that rain being in the forecast, we have these flood watches all over southeastern Ohio, so we'll be watching that closely tonight and over the next few days, as we're going to have similar weather conditions as we go throughout the middle of this week. Now, it is running a little bit cooler than this time of year than we would be expecting. We're a few degrees below average, and that can be attributed to, again, all that rain that's kind of falling in surrounding areas around Athens. So it's feeling a little cool, but that humidity has helped make it feel like it's pretty average out there. Now, as for tonight, that rain still sticks around. We'll have an overnight low of 69, so maybe close the windows tonight, turn on the fans, because it's just not going to be a very comfortable night's sleep if you have the windows open. It's going to feel pretty muggy out there, even with the rain in the area. Looking at tomorrow, we're going to have this, we're still kind of in the middle of this front that moved through and brought all of this rain. So again, we're going to have a similar setup to the last few days. It's just kind of going to be scattered showers, but we do have that chance. With the break in the clouds, we'll have the sun heating up our environment, and that's going to help create these pop-up showers that are going to give us these flood watches. And we also have a marginal thunderstorm warning, or marginal outlook for severe weather tomorrow. Again, with the breaks in the sun, we're going to have a high of 86. It'll help heat us up after that cold front moved through. But again, the showers are going to stick around, and it's a pretty similar night tomorrow, 69. So again, close the windows, turn the fans on, because it's going to be pretty uncomfortable to sleep in. Now, Thursday morning is where it starts to get interesting. When this cold front moves through is what kind of severe weather we get on Thursday. The faster it moves through, the less severe the weather is going to be. So if it stays on track to where it is right now, we're going to have pretty severe weather because it's not going to move through until about 8 o'clock, and that's going to allow it to heat up throughout the day. Now, the high pressure is where we really want to focus our attention, because as it moves into our area, we're going to see our temperatures skyrocket, because it's going to create what we call a heat dome. Now, with all of this high pressure that's going to move in, it's going to clear our skies out, and it's going to allow us to get a lot of sunshine, and it's going to pull up a lot of moisture. So looking at the 7-day breakdown, after Thursday, we get a break from the rain, and then on Friday, we start this not so gradual heat up, 86 on Friday, and then mid-90s as we head into the weekend and into the week after that, and we don't see a chance of rain until Tuesday.
All right, Steve, so I see on the weekend it's going to hit the 90s. I'm from Arizona, so I'm super excited about that. So is it going to feel like that?
No, it's going to be a little different, because we're going to have some of that moisture being pulled up from the south. It's going to make it pretty uncomfortable. In Arizona, 95 degrees, it's kind of comfortable outside. With all that moisture, it's not going to be so comfortable.
Okay, well, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Ohio's professional sports teams are urging Governor Mike DeWine to use nearly $2 billion in unclaimed funds on facility improvements. Top management with Ohio's major pro teams all signed a letter expressing strong support for Senate's plan to use $1.7 billion in unclaimed funds for the construction of the new Cleveland Browns Stadium and other facilities. In the Senate plan, the Browns will pay back the $600 million they are receiving from the state through tax revenue over 30 years. New data shows
Americans are reining in their spending. The Commerce Department said today that U.S. retail sales fell by 0.9% in May from the previous month. That's down from April's 0.1% decline. The May reading represents the steepest monthly decline since January. Tariffs could be behind the drop. In early spring, Americans rushed to purchase big-ticket items, especially cars, to try to beat the price increases from Trump's tariff policies. That sent retail sales surging in March, but spending has decreased since then. Auto industry observers see car prices holding steady despite tariffs. How long will the trends last? Karen Kafa is in Washington with a look at what's driving the numbers.
Even with 25% tariffs on all imported cars and auto parts implemented by the Trump White House for the last 2 months, auto prices haven't skyrocketed the way some analysts expected.
We have a lot of information about what will happen, what could happen, what should happen, but it's not materialized on the dealer's lots because we still have millions of vehicles in inventory.
Consumer caution amid economic uncertainty could be keeping prices in neutral for now. Car buying research site Edmunds.com found the price paid for new cars in May dipped 0.2% on average compared to April. That's after auto sales climbed in March as some consumers sought to get ahead of tariffs. Commerce Department data showed car and auto parts sales slid 3.5% in May from April, a big part of an overall pullback in retail sales.
By having fewer consumers say, let's go dealership right here, right now, buy a car, it does prolong how long it will take before the tariffed cars show up.
But David Tinsley of the Bank of America Institute says their research predicts tariffs will boost prices higher within months.
Bank of America Global Research does expect, supply chain problems on cars to continue, and that will, I think, over time put upward pressure on prices. It will just take some months to come through, I think.
Ivan Drury, director of insights at car buying research site Edmunds.com, says automakers may wait until the new model year, typically early fall, to pass along added costs.
It's not one of those things where you don't expect to see price changes, especially when you go from 25 to 26. It kind of masks that a little bit.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Next, June is Men's Health Month. What one local group is doing to make health screens more accessible.
The Ohio Art Corridor is a destination experience. We would like this to be the largest outdoor art gallery in the world.
Portsmouth was able to field an incredible team for a brief moment in the sun that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship.
We got land granted to us in Ohio. Great opportunity. Let's go. How would you know you got here? It was just sheer determination and patience and just hard, back-breaking work.
The bridge was acclaimed at the time of being an engineering marvel.
Progress is all about taking the lessons of the past and doing better. So I would hope that now that we know better, we will do better.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
Up against one of the most powerful companies on the planet, a group of Amazon workers fight to unionize.
We got to continue to fight because this company has not been held accountable.
Witness a gripping battle for power and dignity in today's global economy.
This is our shot to make things better.
Union on POV.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
In the midst of Mental Health Month, Ohio Health hosted an event to remind men to take care of their physical health too. The Castrop Health Center hosted a drive-through designed to help men get health screenings and remind them to take care of themselves. Newswatch reporter Megan Acker paid a visit to see what the organizers were offering.
Cancer has been one of those elephants in the room always, right? My father passed away from cancer.
Jose Rocha is one of a number of men in the parking loop of the Castrop Center, taking advantage of the Ohio Health drive-through event. Healthcare workers are here to help men access care with an emphasis on cancer screenings. Among the tents was the Ohio Health Wellness on Wheels bus, where Dr. Jill Porter is conducting free skin cancer screenings.
So it all starts with the history, learning about your skin and your skin history. And then once we do that, then we look from head to toe at the skin, looking for changes. So I'm able to write a list and make a list of all their skin findings that they could take and share with their doctors.
And it's not a lengthy appointment.
It takes about 10, 12 minutes.
The quick turnaround time is key. Organizer Brittany Jarvis says the accessibility of these services is an important piece of these events.
The goal today was to just bring awareness to different men-focused cancer screenings, health, wellness, and just disease prevention.
The event mimics the organization's annual Break for Breakfast. Held in October, it encourages women to get screened for breast cancer. Brittany hopes the Men's Health drive-thru will achieve similar success.
I would love to make this an annual event. We'd love to get some people out here and check it out.
If it does get renewed, there's at least one participant planning to attend. Jose said he would absolutely be back.
The preventive measures are super helpful, and again with the exercise and better diet and how that can again prevent and give you a better life and all of those things.
For Newswatch, I'm Megan Acker reporting in Athens.
It's estimated to affect 1 or 2 people out of every 1 million in the U.S. each year. But diagnoses of appendix cancer are rising sharply among younger adults, according to a new study. Mandy Gaither has more on the data and the symptoms everyone should know.
It's an uncommon disease, but a new study shows cases of appendix cancer are rising among Generation X and millennials. The research shows rates of the disease have more than tripled for those born between 1976 and 1984, and more than quadrupled among people born between 1981 and 1989, when compared to those born between 1941 and 1949.
The reason for the increase in the cancer is currently unknown. So there's not really clear guidance on how you can prevent it.
Christina Annunziata with the American Cancer Society says having a healthy lifestyle helps guard against all disease. That includes eating lots of fruits and veggies, maintaining a healthy body weight, limiting alcohol, and not smoking. While there are no specific screening recommendations for appendix cancers, symptoms of the disease typically include abdominal or pelvic pain, bloating, nausea, and vomiting, which often can mimic symptoms of appendicitis.
Good news is typically it does not spread beyond the appendix. So most of the time it is curable by this local surgery.
Annunziata says if the cancer does spread, chemotherapy and other targeted therapies are often options.
Be really aware and in touch with your own symptoms. Don't put anything off. Go to the doctor.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Still ahead, how a local volunteer fire department helped one wild foal in need.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
No! It's my neighbor. I think someone's shot him.
Mrs. Potts, I can't have you interfering.
Judith Potts.
Susie Harris.
I'm Bex Starling, the vicar's wife.
I'm trying to find out who killed my neighbor.
And you've decided to have a little poke around.
Every time I see you, there are more of you. We're not going to stop investigating, are we? You couldn't have just started a book club, could you?
The Marlowe Murder Club on Masterpiece Mystery.
I think we need to have a little chat.
Just the two of us, then?
You're going to need an awful lot of popcorn.
What a wonderful idea.
Patience. She's an absolute natural. We wouldn't have a case without her.
Something doesn't add up about any of this, does it? Nope. Fishy. Fishy.
I never thought that if I did another Atlantic crossing, it would be as a refugee.
Sunday on WOUB.
This is the moment that you've been waiting for.
On your marks, get set,
go!
Discover extraordinary lost worlds.
I know scientists that would give their right arm for this.
This is heaven. Hope y'all ready.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
The Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company in Virginia rescued a wild pony foal born without a rear hoof. Hikers alerted the fire company and they sprang into action. They discovered the animal, which was just days old, was born without a back left hoof. The foal wouldn't have made it long in the wild. But with the help of a prosthetic, this foal may have a chance at a healthy life. The fire company took her out of the wild, bandaged her leg, and introduced her to a mare that reportedly lost her own foal weeks ago. Volunteers say the two are now inseparable.
You know, I hope there's good weather wherever she is, because I know for us, we're not going to have great weather over the next few days. And for tonight, we're going to have some rain in the area and an overnight low of 69. And then we're going to have some rain sticking around for the next about 2 days until it moves out on Friday and gives way to a major heat wave that's going to affect us over the coming week.
That's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Talia Milowich.
And I'm Courtney Smith. Stay tuned for PBX NewsHour coming up next.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.